All right, so today we got to talk a little bit about more about this topic, and again, it's something I brought up before, but Stefan Molyneux here links to a story of a Toronto teacher that was charged with sexual assault, and he says children are far more in danger of sexual assault in schools than ever were in Catholic churches, but you'll never hear about that from the media because government teachers vote for the left. Now, again, this is something I've pointed out at nauseum, but this is one of the many problems with the way things are currently constructed is that um, governments will never criticize a group that does anything wrong that votes for them basically. And you look at that, you look at the whole single mom thing too, like the fact that um, live-in boyfriends slash stepdads are literally like 10 times more likely to sexually abuse or abuse kids than the whole Catholic priest thing. But yet nobody ever talks about it. Now, why does nobody ever talk about it? Because again, single mothers overwhelmingly vote for the left, and the kids of those single mothers overwhelmingly do too. So again, it's just very, very I guess conflict of interest. I don't know exactly how you'd want to put it, but that is one of the many problems. That is one of the many problems. And again, this is something I pointed out before, but it's something that so many people don't seem to realize. It's something that so many people seem to realize. And again, you have conversations with people and you point this kind of stuff out, and they always ask, okay, well, why do things never change? Well, why do things never change? Because the government would never be able to um, can never criticize these groups because if they did, they wouldn't vote for them. Like if they did, they wouldn't vote for them. Like if the government was actually honest with this kind of stuff, they wouldn't vote for them. Again, like the whole thing. Teachers overwhelmingly vote for the left. Single mothers overwhelmingly vote for the left, but people who are Christian, they overwhelmingly don't vote for the left, which is why they receive so much criticism, even though they are significantly less likely to do it than these other groups. So that is the thing that I wanted to get at here. And I don't want to make this too long, but again, this is a topic that a lot of people don't don't really just understand. And I'm not sure the hiccup with people. I think it's largely a just kind of it just completely conflicts with their worldview so much that they just don't want to hear it. I think is the big thing, but that is the problem too. And again, you hear about these kind of people that are proposing change when it comes to let's say drug policy or or the welfare state or any of this kind of stuff, and that I think pretty much everybody knows that the welfare state does more harm. I mean, at least anybody being honest. There's a lot of people that live in echo chambers that don't know this, that won't admit this, but anybody who actually does honest, unbiased, and objective, you know, research or worldview, knows that that's the case. But again, people constantly ask, okay, well, where's the hiccup? Why do so many people not, why are people so unwilling to change their minds, and why will the government never change anything? Well, number one, the government rarely um, will ever implement a policy that isn't popular. Like rarely, if ever, do that. I mean, you see that too with the mask thing. The mask thing is the biggest example of that. There's no evidence whatsoever that masks do anything, especially the cloth masks that most people wear. There is some slight evidence that if you are sick, that the medical grade masks do something. That again, but the problem with those is that um, a lot of them are faulty. I've seen that upwards of half of them coming in are faulty, and that we know the entire first batch of masks from China coming into Canada were faulty. Now we see a lot of the ones coming into the States are faulty. So again, there's no evidence whatsoever that masks work, but because the majority of people are paranoid and would go for it, the government does it. That's exactly. I mean, not it's the same thing with the lockdowns too. There was no evidence whatsoever that the lockdowns worked. We knew that as early as about 3 or 4 weeks into the lockdowns. But again, it took the average place, it took another month or two to get rid of the lockdowns again. So it's the government will only, with rare exceptions, I think there is some rare exceptions, but they will almost exclusively only implement policy if it's popular, because if it's not popular, it doesn't matter if it works. The government could implement a policy that does benefits, that does work, that does benefit society as a whole, but if people perceive it as not being a good thing, it doesn't matter. Like it's the same thing with gun control too. I mean, you look at gun control and that you have in Canada, we're constantly increasing our gun control, and people think, oh yeah, it's this good thing, it's this great thing, but the reality is that it isn't. It doesn't work. We know it doesn't work, but yet because the majority of people perceive it to be a good thing, well, the government does it. So that is the problem. And it's the same thing with this kind of stuff too, is that the majority of people perceive the welfare state as being this good thing because it's, well, we care about the poor garbage, but reality is it's more like we want to keep the existing poor and create even more poor people. That's the reality of the welfare state, is that it keeps people poor and it creates more poor people. Again, because humans are driven by incentive. If you can get money by not working, why would you work? And if you're the kid of someone who's doing that, why you're going to continue those ways of being, right? Because if all you ever seen was your parents, or usually just your mom, who got free money all their life, well, why in the world would you want to work if you could get free money? Like, it, again, it makes no sense. So anyway, that's kind of what I wanted to point out today. I wanted to keep the video kind of short, so I'm gonna leave it there. If you liked it, make sure to hit that like and subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure you check me out on those other platforms. Follow me there. All those links are in the description, so you can find them all there. And stay tuned for more.